As a bartender, my days were filled with mixing drinks, creating new recipes, and offering a quiet kind of comfort to others, listening, pouring, distracting them with both liquor and words. The club I work at is pretty famous, maybe because of the flashy lights, maybe because of the ridiculously good-looking bartenders. And at the top of that list was him. Caden Grays, tall, silver-haired, deep-eyed, built like he was sculpted, but with the heart of a golden retriever puppy. We started working here at the same time, and from day one, he was glued to me. Always following me around, calling me, brother lucky this, brother lucky that. We've been close since forever. He treated me like family, always caring for me, bringing me snacks, looking out for me when I looked tired. Maybe that's why I fell for him. He was everything I wanted. His smile, his soft voice, his warmth, and God, his hands. Those long, slender fingers, he didn't even know how beautiful he was. And for 2 years now, I've carried this one-sided love in silence. I never told him, because first, I don't want to lose our friendship. And second, he's straight. Painfully straight. I've seen him date girls, love them, care for them in ways that made me ache in envy. He gave them everything, flowers, time, affection. And yet, one by one, they left him. Some said he was too sweet, others said he talked too much about me. Me. Should I feel proud, or pathetic? All I know is, I keep hoping, just maybe, someday, he'll look at me with those same soft eyes. He'll hold me, not as a friend, not as a brother, but as someone he wants. My attention shifted the moment I heard Caden's voice echo through the locker room. Closing my locker with a soft thud, I tied my messy black hair into a lazy ponytail. A few strands fell messily over my forehead, brushing against my cheeks. I was in uniform, black jeans, a crisp white shirt with a tie, and a sleek black coat layered over. Nothing too flashy, but sharp enough for the bar's aesthetic. Brother Lucky, you've got visitors, Caden called out with that same bright smile he always wore. I nodded, heading toward the exit. Just before I passed him, Caden casually reached out and tucked a stray strand of hair behind my ear, like it was the most natural thing to do. My heart skipped, like it always did when he touched me. Out on the floor, the crowd had already begun to gather. I offered a polite smile and greeted the customers, my usual rhythm kicking in. "What's new today?" I asked while shaking a drink, my eyes falling on a familiar customer, an office worker with a permanently sulky face. "Got dumped. Again," he muttered. I couldn't help but laugh softly. "That's rough. But hey, don't let it break you. Someone better is probably waiting out there for you." I poured the drink smoothly into his glass. "Here, peace of mind in a glass. Just for tonight," he chuckled, thanking me before sipping. But then, my gaze shifted, and I caught sight of Caden. He was at the far end of the bar, flirting, tucking a woman's hair behind her ear, laughing softly. My chest tightened. I forced my eyes away, pretending to focus on the man before me. I laughed at his jokes, acted unbothered, but I didn't notice Caden moving closer. The next thing I knew, he was right by my side. "Brother Lucky," he whined in that soft, sulky voice, "do you really have to flirt with everyone like that?" I raised a brow. "It's called bartending, Caden. Didn't you just do the same with that lady?" "Yeah, but, seeing you do it feels wrong," he said, lips pouting slightly. "Just, don't smile like that at people. Some of them don't deserve it." He sounded so serious I had to chuckle, ruffling his hair out of habit. He always did this, dropped these lines that gave me the wrong kind of hope, like little sparks in the dark. But I knew better. This was just how Caden was. Honest, caring, and completely, heartbreakingly straight. "You're not wearing your hoodie," he added suddenly, frowning. "I feel fine now," I shrugged. "Last week's fever's gone." Still, he sighed like a worried housewife, then dropped it, though I knew he'd bring it up again. I moved on to another customer, one who always asked for me and always got a bit too familiar. This time, he leaned in way too close, eyeing me like I was part of the menu. "You look thinner than usual," he said with a smirk. I stirred the drink, giving my best professional smile. "Really, I've been eating too much lately though." He leaned in even more. I tensed slightly, trying to keep it cool, about to politely ask him to sit back, when Caden appeared out of nowhere and accidentally spilled a drink right near the guy, soaking his sleeve. "Oops," he said, all fake innocent. "Guess you should move a little." The guy's face soured, but he chuckled awkwardly and left soon after. I blinked. That was aggressive, I muttered. Nah, just clumsy, Caden said with a grin, that annoyingly adorable puppy smile on his face. And then, as always, Brother Lucky, let me drop you home tonight. I panicked a little. No need, I've got something to do after work. He frowned instantly. What work? I waved him off. Just something. Truth was, I had plans. Not that I wanted to go. But sometimes I needed to try to move on, even if it meant pretending. But Caden always insisted. Always. He checked if I ate, made sure I dressed warm, even kept a hoodie just for me behind the bar. He knew how I liked my coffee without ever asking. He stepped in the moment a customer made me uncomfortable. He looked out for me like I mattered most. Now tell me, how the hell am I not supposed to fall for him? Maybe I'm the idiot, falling for his kindness, for that stupid smile, for the soft voice that only calls me Brother Lucky. And yet, I can't stop. After my shift, I waved goodbye to the others and Caden before quickly changing into casual jeans and a shirt, slinging my bag over my shoulder and stepping out. Behind the club, I leaned against the wall, one hand in my pocket, the other holding my phone. I was waiting for the man I was supposed to go out with tonight, unaware that today, my truth would be revealed. A text pinged in, "He's here." Before I could look around, a familiar voice called out, surprising me. "Brother Lucky, you forgot your jacket again," Caden said, walking toward me with that same smile, holding the jacket I didn't even realize I was missing. No wonder I felt cold. I gulped. At that moment, the man I was waiting for also arrived, casually throwing an arm around my waist. "Lucky, shall we go?" he asked. I smiled awkwardly. I'm doomed. Caden's smile froze, eyebrows knitting together. "Who's this? Brother Lucky, do you know him? Why is he touching you?" His tone wasn't casual. His eyes were locked on the hand on my waist. I panicked. "Hey, I think we can't hang out tonight." "I'm sorry," I mumbled, gently pushing the man away. He hesitated but eventually left. When I turned back, Caden was still there. "Brother Lucky, are you dating him?" he asked, voice softer than usual. I clutched my arm, avoiding his gaze. "No, I was just hanging out." "Yeah, we were supposed to spend the night and hang out." Caden stepped closer until my back hit the wall. "What kind of hangout?" I gulped. "Enough hiding. If he wants to know, let him." "I was sleeping around," I said bluntly. "You know, sex. That's all." I expected anger, judgment, something. But instead, Caden's eyes dropped. Glittered. Almost desperate. He pinned me to the wall, caging me with his arms. "I don't know why," he whispered, "but the thought of you with someone else drives me insane. If you want to be held, let me be the one." Huh, I blinked in shock. "Brother Lucky, I don't know what this feeling is, but knowing someone else has touched you, it makes me feel physically sick." His voice trembled. "I can't stand it." Then gently, he cupped my jaw, locking eyes with me. "If you're gonna be with someone, why not me? I won't hurt you. You know that." He leaned in, hesitating for just a second before kissing me. And in that kiss, everything changed. I was tired of hurting, of pretending it didn't matter. But this wasn't so bad. It felt good. Half of my dream came true that night. So I said yes, not expecting much, just needing his touch, his warmth, even if it's only borrowed. Soon, we arrived at my apartment. It was quiet, dimly lit with only the moonlight pouring through the window. The tension between us felt almost unbearable. I gripped my shirt nervously. "Are you sure?" But I was cut off by Caden's lips on mine. "So this is what you've been doing?" he murmured, his voice dark and low, breath ghosting over my lips. "Sneaking out, sleeping with strangers. How many of them have you brought here?" I didn't reply. I looked away. I couldn't. "Fine," he said, voice firmer now. "But I'll make sure they're the last. From now on, I'm the only one coming here." And just like that, he kissed me again. The kiss started soft, trembling, barely there. But the moment I parted my lips just slightly, everything snapped. His hands were suddenly everywhere, dominating my mouth, pulling me closer, grabbing and touching me like he'd been holding back for far too long. His lips moved against mine with hunger, like he'd been starving for this, starving for me. A soft moan escaped me as Caden pressed against me, his body flush against mine, grinding down slow and deliberate. The friction made me whimper, heat blooming in every inch of me. He pulled back from the kiss just enough to stare at me. His hand slid up behind my head like a snake, curling into my hair. He pulled out the tie holding it up, letting the strands fall in a silky mess over my neck and shoulders, bathed in moonlight. I saw his pupils shake. Like I just broke something inside him. His fingers traced lightly through my hair, holding a few strands in his palm as he nuzzled close, his lips brushing softly against the side of my head. "Brother Lucky, you always look good, but tonight, even the stars would lose to you." I scoffed lightly, trying to act cool, though my heart was burning up. "Seriously, you sound so corny." He chuckled softly. "I mean it," he whispered, just before kissing me again. The next thing I knew, I was being gently pushed onto the bed. I hadn't even realized when my shirt had come off, discarded somewhere on the floor. Caden's eyes roamed over me, his fingers and lips trailing across my skin, teasing, tasting, touching. His tongue left fire wherever it went. I gasped as his mouth latched onto a sensitive spot on my collarbone, sucking until I was sure there'd be a mark. "Caden, kiss me," I whispered. He didn't hesitate. He kissed me harder, deeper, a messy, desperate kiss that stole the breath from my lungs. My fingers trembled before tugging his hoodie off, nails digging into his back, dragging down his skin. At first, his touches were gentle, precious, but soon, they turned wild, hungry, like he wanted to wreck me, claim me in every way. He responded to every moan, every sigh I gave, with more. More heat, more pressure, more of him. He kissed down my chest, my stomach, my thighs, leaving marks, painting me with proof that I was his. And I realized, he wasn't going to stop. Not when he finally began. I was nervous, scared, even, but he looked at me, giving me a soft, reassuring smile, pressing a gentle kiss to my forehead, silently asking for consent one last time. And when I gave it, he sank into me, making us whole in one breathtaking moment. I'd done this with so many people before, but no one ever made me feel like this. With Caden, I felt like I was dreaming. And then he thrust deep, kissing me rough, anchoring me to reality. I was here, in his arms, moaning, breathing, thinking only about him. The next morning, I woke up feeling sore, and completely caged in his arms. His chest was pressed against my back, his breath warm on my neck, and our legs were hopelessly tangled beneath the sheets. Despite the ache in my body, I'd never felt more satisfied, more ruined in the best way. I shifted slightly, my face buried against his collarbone. "Are you awake? Let me go," I mumbled against his skin. "No." "5 more minutes," he replied in a sleepy mumble, tightening his arms around me and pressing a lazy kiss to my forehead. I sighed. "You've been saying 5 minutes for the last 20. He grinned against my hair and suddenly rolled us over, pinning me beneath him as he hovered above, his messy hair falling over sleepy eyes, still looking ridiculously good. "Because 5 minutes with you never feel enough. God, you're such a clingy mutt in the mornings." I tried to shove him off. He didn't budge. Instead, he leaned in and kissed me, slow, deep, and completely unnecessary for 7 a.m. My fingers curled against his bare back despite myself, the warmth of his skin impossible to resist. "I like you like this," he whispered against my lips, kissing me again. "All messed up, sleepy, cute. You're insufferable." I tried to glare, but it was hard to stay mad when his lips were back on mine, soft but possessive, tasting me like I belonged to him, like he needed one more kiss to survive the morning. He pulled back just slightly, grinning. "Still sore?" he teased with a wink. "Shut up." I blushed, trying to push him again. "If I die walking today, I'm haunting you. Then I'll let you haunt me forever," he whispered, leaning in to kiss me again. And just like that, I gave up. Because being kissed awake by Caden, his arms wrapped around me like I was something precious. I could get used to this. It almost felt like we were dating. The way we kissed, the way he held me, made me breakfast, looked at me like I was the only one that existed. But I knew we weren't. And I shouldn't let myself hope. That kind of expectation only leads to pain, and I'd be the one hurting the most. Later, we ate breakfast together, joking around. Of course, we ended up making out against the counter before we started getting ready for work. I wore simple jeans and a shirt, my bag slung over one shoulder as I walked down the steps, skipping a few. Caden walked beside me, hoodie and jacket layered lazily on his tall frame, glancing at me from time to time. "Brother Lucky," he said, voice casual but sharp with curiosity. "How many guys have you slept with?" I paused, caught off guard, and smirked teasingly. I tilted my head to the sky and began counting with my fingers dramatically. His jaw dropped. Seriously, you're counting? Was it that many? His expression was pure shocked anime character, wide-eyed and adorable. I burst into laughter. No, silly, I was teasing. Then, with a smaller smile, I added, but yeah, I did sleep with a lot of people. I looked away, the laughter dying in my throat. I'm not a good person like you think I am. I'm not how you see me. Suddenly, Caden stopped and gently grabbed my face, making me look at him. I don't believe that, he said softly, seriously. There's nothing that says you're not a good person. I know you. You're kind, sweet, and the prettiest person I've ever seen. Sleeping around doesn't make you bad. I'm sure you had your reasons. And it's not like you're doing it anymore. He smiled wide, that smile that always reaches his eyes. Since you have me now, I'll make sure you won't want anyone else. My face went so hot, I knew he could feel it under his palms. Embarrassed, I tried to pull away, but a couple walked past us, glancing with judgment in their eyes, probably from seeing two guys standing so close in such a public space. I instantly grew nervous, sure Caden would step back and pretend this moment never happened. But he didn't. Instead, he pulled me closer, and his face darkened as he glared at the couple. What? He asked sharply, coldly. The couple looked away immediately and walked faster. It stunned me, how Caden didn't even flinch. As if being seen with me, a guy, didn't matter to him at all. It felt different, new. I shoved at his chest lightly. Seriously, you need to keep your hands off me. Especially in public. Why? He pouted, his sharp look melting instantly into that soft, puppy expression. You don't want people to see us together. I hesitated. It's not that, I'm just scared they'll think things about you. He blinked, then smiled casually like it was no big deal. Let them think whatever, I don't care. He leaned closer, whispering like a secret, I just want your attention on me. My face burned again. This guy really needed to come with a warning label. By the time we arrived at work, the air between us was strangely charged. We headed into the changing room together, and I didn't even flinch when Caden quietly shut the door behind us. I slipped into my work outfit and pulled my hair up into a loose tie. Just as I closed the locker, I felt warm breath ghosting over the back of my neck. Brother Lucky, Caden murmured against my skin, don't flirt too much today, okay? His voice was low, almost playful, but there was something possessive in the way he said it. I couldn't help but smile and nod. Throughout the day, a few coworkers eyed us with curiosity, clearly picking up on the strange closeness. I felt nervous under their stares, but Caden, he didn't care. He'd casually pull me closer and say things like, we've always been this close. The hours flew by, serving, cleaning, laughing, working. Still, I could always feel Caden's eyes on me. Whether I was passing by or chatting with someone, he noticed everything. Especially when I ended up in conversation with one of our regular customers, a flirt with a flair for drama and the kind of jokes that make your stomach hurt from laughing. I genuinely enjoyed his company, his energy was easy to like. I found myself laughing more than I intended to, completely caught up in the moment. Until a loud crash cut through the bar. The sound of shattering glass drew everyone's attention. I looked over immediately. Caden was standing there, a broken glass at his feet, his jaw clenched. You okay? I asked, stepping slightly forward. He didn't even look at me. Just shrugged and said coolly, yep, just my clumsy hands. But his eyes were burning holes into the guy the first had been laughing with. The atmosphere turned tense, and I found myself standing a little farther from the customer. I wasn't sure why, but I did it without thinking. When our shift finally ended, we went back to the changing room. I was about to say something when, without a word, Caden stepped in and shut the door behind him again. Then, he pinned me against the lockers. He kissed me, hard, deep, and desperate. His fingers slid up the back of my neck, gentle but possessive. Can we, he whispered against my lips, go to your place again? I blinked at the question, then gave a small smile. Yeah. After changing, we got ready to leave, only to find it had started raining. While Caden was fumbling around for an umbrella, I stepped out into the downpour, letting the cold rain soak into my clothes and skin. It felt calming, like it was washing away the tension of the day. I stood quietly, eyes closed, until something hovered over my head. An umbrella. I turned to see Caden holding it, his expression unreadable. I wanna feel it, I said quietly. He blinked at me for a second, then nodded slowly, and closed the umbrella without hesitation. I grinned. Let's go like this. It's more fun, I said, running ahead and skipping through puddles like a kid. Caden stood there for a second, just watching me, like he was trying to figure out what this feeling inside him was. Then he chuckled, soft and warm, and ran after me through the rain. We reached my apartment, both of us soaked from head to toe, shoes squelching and clothes clinging to our bodies. I fumbled with the keys, laughing breathlessly as Caden hovered behind me, water dripping from his hoodie. The moment we stepped inside, I kicked the door shut. Silence filled the room, except for our heavy breathing and the sound of raindrops hitting the windows. I turned to face him, and stopped. Take off your shirt, he said, not asked, his voice husky and deep. I blinked. What? You'll get sick, he added, stepping closer, hands already reaching for the hem of my shirt. Let me. My breath hitched as he peeled the wet fabric off me slowly, his fingers grazing my skin deliberately. Once it was off, he took a step back to stare, not even trying to hide the way his eyes devoured every inch of me. Then, without a word, he pulled off his own hoodie and shirt in one go. I turned to grab a towel, but he grabbed my wrist, spinning me around and pushing me gently against the wall. You look too good like this, he whispered, pressing his lips to my neck, trailing kisses up to my jaw. Wet and flushed, his body pressed against mine, rain-soaked jeans sticking to both of us. His hand slid into my hair, the other resting on my waist. He gripped the back of my head gently but firmly, pulling off the rubber, separating the strands. Brother Lucky, I really like your hair when it's messy like this, he muttered against my lips, so soft, so wild. Before I could respond, he kissed me, not soft, not slow. It was deep and demanding, tongue brushing mine as if trying to claim me. I moaned into it, fingers curling against his chest. Caden didn't stop. He lifted me up, arms firm under my thighs, carrying me toward the bedroom. Clothes trailed behind us, wet fabric landing on the floor in our haste. By the time he laid me on the bed, both of us were stripped bare of everything except heat and want. He hovered over me, tracing a finger along my collarbone. You're so pretty, Brother Lucky, he whispered, kissing down my chest, his breath warm and teasing. I want all of you. Again and again, his words, his touch, the rain still trickling outside, it all blurred together into something raw, unrestrained. I arched into him, feeling every kiss, every bite, every press of his lips as if he was branding me. The night turned into a haze of heat, limbs tangled, voices muffled by the sound of rain and moans. It felt like time stopped, the world only holding the two of us. And through all of it, the way he whispered my name, the way he worshipped me like I was something precious, I knew I was falling deeper. Too deep that it hurts. And that's how our days started passing, in this, whatever it is between us. I can't even name it. I want to call it a relationship, but I don't dare ask. What if he says no? What if I get a rejection worse than heartbreak? Funny how my name's Lucky, but when it comes to love, I'm anything but. It feels like we're in a relationship though. Like just yesterday, Caden casually asked me if I wanted to go to the movies. It wasn't even a big deal to him. Just wanna catch a movie with me after work. And here I was now, staring at my reflection, possibly wearing something a little bold. Nothing scandalous, just a light pink crop shirt that flirted with my waistline, layered under a mesh net type top and some well-fitted jeans. I mean, I was born bold. No shame here. Caden arrived, wearing all black with a gray shirt peeking underneath, hair styled just the way I liked. He looked at me like I was a rare painting in a museum, something untouchable, precious. I felt a few eyes on me as we walked in. I noticed. So did he. He didn't say anything, didn't growl or sulk. He just gave me a small compliment, respectful, gentle. But the way his jaw tensed when people looked too long. Oh, he noticed everything. While we were buying snacks, the cashier handed me caramel popcorn. I guess he assumed I liked it like the last customer. I didn't say anything, not wanting to make a fuss in the long line. But Caden noticed. Don't you hate that flavor? He asked, handing me my Coke before taking the box from me without waiting for an answer. He came back a moment later, holding the popcorn I actually liked. A small thing, but it made my heart flutter. I thanked him with a smile, nibbling happily while he just stared at me. So softly, until his gaze shifted to someone beside me, eyes darkening. The guy had been staring. Caden gave him a glare sharp enough to cut steel before pulling me close. I laughed under my breath, teasing, maybe next time I'll need your permission before dressing hot. You don't, he said lowly. Anyone looking the wrong way can pay for it. You wear what makes you feel good. The last part came out softer, almost like he didn't mean for me to hear it. I blushed. Of course I did, and just as I looked down, he suddenly leaned in and kissed me hard, deep, at the corner of my lips, like punishment for being too pretty. We went to our seats. The movie started. I tried to focus, I really did, but I swear Caden looked at me more than the screen. When it ended, we both went to the bathroom. I was rambling, excited, my hands clutched together as I leaned against the counter. That scene where he swam, did you see that? He was so handsome. I really liked the main lead. Caden, drying his hands, looked at me with that familiar dark gaze again. I knew it before it happened. He kissed me. Of course he did. Wait, we're outside. I tried pushing him back, cheeks heating up. So what? He whispered, pressing another kiss. Can't couples kiss in public? Couples? That word struck me. He said it so casually, like it meant nothing. But to me, it meant everything. I stared at him, too shocked to speak. His hands found my exposed waist again, fingers trailing my spine slowly, lazily, almost possessively. I was about to melt right there until I heard footsteps approaching. I panicked, pushed him away, fixing my clothes with a glare. Keep your hands to yourself, I huffed, storming out. Behind me, I heard him sigh and jog after me like a lovesick puppy, mumbling, sorry, brother Lucky, let's continue at your place. Pretty please. A few more days passed. I still couldn't define what we were, friends. More than that, less. I didn't dare ask. I was too afraid the answer might break the fragile warmth we had. I guess I'm lucky only in name, because my luck with love. It's terrible. Still, whatever this was between us, I loved it, even if it sometimes felt suffocating. I wasn't going to be greedy. I'd take what I could get. It was a regular day at work. I was testing out some new drinks when a new customer sat down in front of me. I looked up and froze. Henry, my first ever crush from college. Henry, what are you doing here? I asked, surprised. He smiled, the same gentle smile I remembered. I was in the area. Stopped by for a drink. Then I heard you work here. Had to see if it was true. You've been good. He was still handsome, but my heart no longer fluttered for him. It belonged to someone else now. You look even prettier than I remember, he added casually, making me laugh a little. His flirting hadn't changed one bit. But before I could respond, a glass landed hard on the counter between us. Caden, you two look close, he said, voice tight, eyes focused on Henry. Mind introducing us? I cleared my throat, suddenly awkward. Caden, this is Henry. We went to college together. Henry nodded politely. Nice to meet you. And you are. I hesitated. What was I supposed to say? What were we? He's my coworker and friend, I finally said with a smile. Caden smiled too, but it was cold, his voice sharper than usual. Right, though I don't plan to stay in that zone much longer. The air grew tense. I didn't say anything. Caden walked off, returning to work, but his gaze stayed locked on me and Henry. I kept the conversation with Henry light and distant, not getting too close, not laughing too much. He eventually left when it got late. Later, as we were closing up and heading into the changing room, I glanced at Caden. Are you mad? I asked hesitantly. He didn't respond. Instead, he shut the door behind us and leaned against it, his eyes low. Brother Lucky, he began softly. Have you ever been in love? His question hit me out of nowhere. Huh, I blinked at him. He was serious. I laughed nervously, scratching the back of my neck. Of course I have. I'm still in love, with an idiot who doesn't even realize it. One-sided love, you know. He stepped closer. My heart jumped. Who is it? He asked quietly, looking right into my eyes. I avoided his gaze. It's not important. Tell me, brother Lucky. I want to know. Don't hide it. I hesitated, but he gently held my chin and lifted my face to meet his eyes. Who is it? He repeated, voice low. And I broke. The weight in my chest cracked open and spilled out. It's you, idiot, it's you. I burst out, eyes stinging. You're the one I've loved since the first day we met. And now what? What will you do? Mock me? Reject me? Pretend nothing happened? I know you don't feel the same, so just forget it, okay? My voice shook, but I kept going. I'm tired. I've had enough of this thing between us where I pretend it doesn't hurt. Where I pretend I'm okay carrying everything alone. It's suffocating, Caden. And you'll never understand that. I turned away, eyes shut. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm going. I pushed past him, and he stepped aside silently. He didn't stop me. As I reached the door, he spoke softly behind me. It's cold. Take your jacket. I paused, scoffed a little, grabbed my jacket. Then I walked out, not knowing what would happen next, or what we were now. The next day was awkward, hella awkward. Honestly, I was the one making it worse by avoiding him, not even daring to meet his eyes. My head was already spinning from everything that happened, and just when I thought it couldn't get more complicated, a new problem walked in. Jack, my old friend, the one I used to fool around with. Of course, he had to show up now, when I was already hanging on by a thread. What are you doing here? I asked, slamming a glass onto the table in front of him. He smirked. Is this how you treat your customers? Yes, you're a special premium pain in the ass, that's why. I crossed my arms. What do you want? Didn't I say we shouldn't meet again? You did, he replied, casually. But I missed you. Why? I missed your smile. His tone was playful, still that same flirt he always was. I rolled my eyes, glancing around. The last thing I needed was a scene. I grabbed his wrist and pulled him to a quieter corner. I didn't notice the pair of cold, burning eyes locked on us from across the room, watching the hand I was holding, the lips pressed into a tight line. Now talk, I hissed, pressing Jack gently against the wall. What do you need? I just thought maybe we could hang out again, for old time's sake, he said with a shrug. Ah, no, I've stopped messing around. Why not? You know it'd be fun, he teased, leaning closer. I didn't flinch, I just rolled my eyes again. Then he stepped back, eyes flicking behind me. Oh, right, I forgot, you've got some serious love problems now, don't you? No wonder it felt like my skin was burning. Guess I'll go, then. But you know where to find me, my number's still the same. He patted my shoulder, and I turned, only to freeze. Caden, standing there, arms crossed, expression unreadable. His eyes followed Jack as he walked away, the tension between them crackling like electricity. Caden, wait, don't be mad, I can explain. I was cut off by a deep sigh. He stepped closer and gently patted my shoulder. Brother Lucky, I love you. Please, date me. Silence. I blinked. What? That came way too sudden and unexpectedly. Caden smiled softly, his hands coming up to cup my face. You heard me, he said, eyes sincere. I've had enough of pretending, enough of confusion. Yesterday, without you by my side, it felt like hell. Now I'm sure, what I feel is love. My heart thundered in my chest. Wait, what? When did this even happen? He leaned in and kissed my cheek, his voice low and warm as he confessed. At first, I thought I just liked you, a lot. You were good looking, kind, the only one who treated me gently. Your smile always caught my eye. I felt this strange urge to protect you, to keep you close. But then, when I saw others with you, even just talking to you, it made me mad. Jealous, like they were stealing something that belonged to me. I couldn't think straight. I knew then, it wasn't just comfort. It was more. He paused, brushing his thumb against my cheek. Your existence became my peace. Your voice, my favorite sound. Your eyes, my favorite view. Every little thing about you became my favorite. I don't care who you were with before, or what happened in your past. I just want you, all of you. Please, be mine officially. I stood there frozen, heart pounding so loud I thought even Caden could hear it. His hands still cradled my face gently, waiting, expecting. How could someone look at me like that? Like I was their whole world, when I didn't even know what I was to myself. You, I started, voice cracking. I cleared my throat. You're insane. Caden chuckled softly, eyes not leaving mine. Maybe, but I'm insane for you. My face flushed. I shoved his chest lightly. Shut up. You don't get to say things like that with a straight face. I'm serious, brother Lucky. And I'm serious too. This isn't a joke. You can't just drop a love confession on me like a bomb right after Jack shows up. I don't care about whoever that clown was, he said. Firmly. I care about you. You look like you were slipping away and I can't lose you. I won't. I bit my lip, looking away. My chest felt tight. I'm not perfect, I whispered. You know that, right? I'm a mess, Caden. I've done stupid things, slept with the wrong people, pushed away the right ones. I don't even know how to be loved properly. He reached for my hands, gently wrapping his fingers around mine. Then let me teach you, he said. Let me love you in all the ways you deserve. Let me show you that being yours, and having you, can feel like home. That's when the tears pricked the corners of my eyes. You're not supposed to say stuff like that, I mumbled, trying not to cry. Why not? Because it makes me want to say yes. He smiled, leaning in, his forehead resting gently against mine. Then say it. I closed my eyes, took a shaky breath, and whispered. Okay. His breath caught. Okay, he asked, softly. I nodded. Be my boyfriend, Caden. His arms wrapped around me tightly, and in that moment, I felt it, the weight I'd been carrying for so long, start to lift. And for the first time in forever, I let myself believe maybe, just maybe, I could be loved too. And he's the one loving me. So now what? I asked, glancing at Caden as we stood side by side in silence by the locker. Now we date, Caden said with childlike excitement, making me blink before giggling. I guess we're already doing that, I said. Yes, but now it's different, he replied, gazing at me so lovingly that I had to look away, nervously rubbing the back of my head. After finishing our work, we headed back to my apartment. As soon as we stepped inside, he didn't waste a second, pulling me into a soft, passionate kiss. Wait, let's change first, I tried to speak, but he didn't let me. His lips kept brushing down to my neck, trailing kisses that made me dizzy. There was a different kind of gentleness in his touch today. Or maybe I was just feeling it differently now, because things were different. We weren't just close. We were finally something real. A relationship I could name. A connection that had both our feelings involved. No longer one-sided, no longer a secret. I really am an idiot, he suddenly whispered against my neck. Huh, why? I asked, confused. Why didn't I notice your feelings earlier? He murmured. If I had, we'd have been happily dating by now, maybe even married already. He pouted, and his words left me speechless. My heart clenched. I gently cupped his cheeks, looking into his eyes. Then let's not waste any more time, I whispered. Let's make up for everything we missed, starting now. He grinned, then leaned in again, this time slower, as if savoring the moment that was finally ours. After a while, we finally broke the kiss, both of us slightly breathless. Caden rested his forehead against mine, smiling like an idiot. So, what do couples do after confessing? He asked, lips brushing mine. I chuckled. Eat, obviously. I'm starving. He blinked. Seriously, we had a moment and you're thinking about food. Yes, I said proudly. My stomach has feelings too, and right now it feels empty. Caden shook his head, grinning. Fine, what do you want? I walked into the kitchen, rolling up my sleeves. Let's cook together. Romantic cooking session. Okay, Chef Lucky, he teased, tying an apron around me before putting one on himself, backwards, of course. I laughed. That's not how you wear it, dumbass. You sure? I think this is high fashion, he said, striking a ridiculous pose. I walked over and fixed it, hands lingering on his waist a little longer than necessary. He caught it, smirking. We started chopping vegetables and arguing over how much spice to add, but everything felt light, warm. Like we were just two idiots in love, cooking in a small kitchen that suddenly felt like home. At one point, he snuck up behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist and resting his chin on my shoulder. I like this, he murmured. Cooking? I asked. No, us. Like this. Normal. Happy. Together. I turned around in his arms, our noses nearly touching. Me too. Dinner turned out slightly burnt but tasted perfect. Maybe it was the laughter. Maybe it was the feeling of his eyes always on me, like I was the only thing that mattered. And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. After dinner, we barely bothered cleaning up, just dumped the plates in the sink and stumbled toward the couch like gravity had its own plans for us. The room was dim, only lit by the small lamp in the corner, casting a warm, sleepy glow. I flopped onto the couch, sighing. Caden followed, climbing in right beside me, not leaving even a sliver of space. I ate too much, I mumbled, patting my stomach. He hummed, brushing my hair back. You're still the cutest thing I've ever seen. I blushed slightly but pretended to roll my eyes. You're so dramatic. And you like it. I did. Before I could respond, he leaned in, kissing me softly. It started gentle, just lips brushing lips. But slowly, his hand moved to my jaw, tilting my face as the kiss deepened. His tongue teased against mine, drawing out little gasps as he pulled me closer, his body pressing against mine, heat rising between us. His fingers slid under my shirt, skimming the skin of my waist but never rushing, like he was memorizing me with his touch. My hands tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, our kisses growing messier, breathier. The world faded. It was just him and me. Eventually, when we were both too flushed and dazed to continue, he broke the kiss, resting his forehead against mine, breathing hard. "I could kiss you forever," he whispered. "Then do," I replied softly. He smiled, brushing a final kiss to my nose before pulling me onto his chest. We settled down, tangled up under a thin blanket. My head rested on his heart, its steady thump grounding me. His fingers traced lazy circles on my back. "You feel like home," he said quietly, almost like a confession to the stars. I smiled, eyes heavy. "Then don't ever leave." "I won't, not even in my dreams." And like that, wrapped in warmth, tangled legs, and stolen breaths, we drifted into sleep, he holding me like he never wanted to let go, and me finally feeling safe enough not to run.